to the video. What's up guys, it's Phil here, back here with another video. I got a new mic on my camera, so hopefully the audio quality doesn't sound like total like it did last time. And today I'm bringing you a video talking about getting started in software development. Now I've been a software developer for about a year now, working in web and iOS mostly. And I just kind of want to talk about today the different paths you could take to becoming a software developer, the technologies you should learn, things like that. Now like I said before, I've been focused more on iOS development and web development, mostly on the front end, not so much on the back end. Just because I've always been a visual person and I like using iPhones. I've been using them for like 10 years now, and the web is everywhere and runs pretty much on every device. I always just love the idea of someone using something that I built and be like, oh wow, that's so cool, like this feature or that feature. Because I know I was like that when I was younger, and I used to watch all the Apple keynotes back in the day when they would show a new iOS update, showing you features. Maybe there was some animation or some UI, UX feature that they showed that I always thought like, wow, that's so cool. And I wanted to build stuff like that. So that's how I figured out that iOS and web is kind of what I want to do. So hopefully this video helps you out in starting that journey. Now, one thing I want to get out of the way is that everyone's situation is different. There's no one size fits all solution that'll make you a software developer, taking you from X to Y, making X amount of money in X amount of time. Some people might take months, years, weeks, whatever. So everyone's situation is different. So I'm going to try and make this as best as I can to fit everybody. Just fundamentally things you should know that'll help you at least get started. The first thing you gotta really figure out is what you want to build for. Software runs on so many different platforms these days, from iPhones, Androids, Windows, Mac, you got robotics, AI. So you really want to figure out what it is that you want to work on first and then go from there. So now that you've decided what it is you want to really build, you gotta learn the skills to get there. Now there are, like I said, several ways to do this. You could go self-taught, you could go boot camps, you could go to college. Me personally, I went to college. I got a degree in chemical engineering, which is not related to software development at all. I took a couple of programming classes in Python, C++ as part of the program. But there isn't anything that I learned gaining that degree that helped me get to where I am today and what I do. So me personally, I went the self-taught route and just learned web development on my own through Google searches, which Google's gonna become your best friend. Watching YouTube videos, there's a bunch of great channels on here. Traversy Media, our Lord and Savior, NetNinja, DevEd, and just a ton of others that specialize in different tools and technologies. Me personally, what I've found with web development is that it's not so much that it's hard to learn, but there's a lot to learn and it can feel very overwhelming. There are websites out there like FreeCodeCamp, which have everything kind of structured, more like a course where you just kind of like go through the lessons one by one, and it all just kind of like builds on each other and connects really well. And while in the past they've been focused more on web development, they've actually just recently added some courses for Python as well. If you're going to data science, machine learning, pretty basic stuff. It probably doesn't get a whole lot in depth with it, but a good starting point if that's what you want to get into. And one of the nice things about FreeCodeCamp as well is as you complete the courses, you get these certificates, so you get that extra validation. Now for iOS, I also kind of went the self-taught route. First, I downloaded this book from Apple, from the iBook store. I think it was like Getting Started with iOS Development. I'll leave a link to it below, or like an image of the cover here somewhere. I thought that book was really great, kind of gets you familiar with the fundamentals of Swift and the iOS platform and using Xcode. Because the first time I touched Xcode, I was so intimidated by it. There's all these buttons and panels. I don't know what to do. The one thing you gotta know in software development that might make it less intimidating is you really can't break anything. Anything that can be done can be undone pretty much immediately. And by that, I just mean Command Z everything into oblivion. Now, one of the other options I mentioned before was boot camps, and I don't really have an experience with this. I do have a cousin that did go to a boot camp, I think for about 3 months over in London, and now she works as some kind of support engineer for I don't know which company, but from what I heard, there's a lot of controversies on boot camps and they don't really deliver on what they promise on. Sometimes you'll spend 15K over the period of 3 months and then they don't get you a job, and then you're left in debt and then you're screwed. So I think when it comes to that, it's definitely important to do your research and definitely see if they have any kind of skin in the game where they can guarantee you a job and they just take like a percentage of your paycheck for X amount of time, but until you pay them back. I hear that's a good rule of thumb with boot camps. Correct me if I'm wrong, someone in the comments below. If you have any information on boot camps, let people know down below in the comments, and that'd just be a big help. Now, the last and probably best option for most of you would be going to school, like university or community college. If you're watching this video, some harsh truth is that probably school would be the best option for you. You could spend all the time Googling and watching YouTube videos as you want, but if you have really no structure or really path to get you to where you want to be or build stuff you want to build or get the job you want, then school is probably the best for you. You will learn a lot of technical stuff that you might not end up using on the job. It's a lot of college degrees anyway, speaking from experience. Now, do you need a college degree to become a software developer or get a job in this field? No, there's plenty of people who have done it on their own, taken the path of, boot camps or what I've done, which is self-taught, and got a job. Anyway, guys, if there's anything that you could take away from this video is that there are many ways to get started in this field, but there really isn't a best way. But the general thing is if you don't have that piece of paper with that reputable school name behind it, odds are you're gonna have a much harder time getting an interview unless you just know people, you have a good network, or just know how to market yourself. You know, don't let me, just a guy on YouTube, be the deciding factor of whether you make a big financial commitment to school or not, whether to better your future. Really only you can answer that question. You know, alternatively, school is really expensive. You can take some Udemy courses that again are really structured, taught by some great instructors. I mean, MIT also has a bunch of free lectures up here on YouTube for the more theoretical stuff that computer science degrees offer. So if you think that might be an option for you and you don't want to make the huge financial commitment, just take those maybe, you know, $10, $20 courses. You might be better off testing the waters that way instead of just making the huge financial commitment of going to university and being in debt for something you don't even like to do. If I were to start over, then I'd probably start with the either free self-taught route again, or I'd probably go for some of the cheaper courses, just kind of get more structure. And the important thing is that once you have a foundation, is to really just start building things. You know, it's really easy to get stuck in all these tutorials and feel like, you know, I'll take this tutorial, I'll read this article, this blog, and then I'll feel like I'm ready. You just gotta start. You'll never fully feel ready. And this is one of the fields where it's 100% okay to get stuck all the time. You know, there are people in this field that have been working for like 10 plus years that still get stuck on regular everyday problems like centering a div or changing something a certain way. But this is one of the fields that changes so much that something that might have been right 5 years ago might not be right today. Being able to Google your way out of a problem and knowing the right things to ask is one of the best skills you could have, whether it's, you know, asking people, forums, YouTube videos, you know, whatever it is. And no matter how much experience anyone has, no one knows everything. There's things always changing. Looking at you, JavaScript. And with that, it's just important to keep learning no matter which field you're going into. Alright, I think that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Give this video a like and share it with somebody who you think it might help. Subscribe to the channel. I'll be putting out more stuff. I know I meant to put this out like a week ago. I'm the worst YouTuber ever. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'll have the links for that below, as well as some of the links to the resources I mentioned where you could get started learning. And I'm actually part of a Discord channel where there's a bunch of developers. I'll leave a link to that below. You can just accept that invite and I can help you out there as well as a bunch of other people who are way smarter than me. So with that being said, hope you enjoyed the video. Peace.